Hey everyone, thanks for clicking the video. I'm your host Deffinition, and when I woke up this morning I was outraged. Outraged, I tell you, but not for the reasons that you might think. Now, I know you guys hopefully come to this channel for informative videos that go beyond the headlines, so I thought I'd break down this news story that James Bond has been replaced by a black female and discuss kind of the whole drama and why, in my opinion, this entire thing going on is just so ridiculous. Okay, so first let's dive into the story and how it's being reported by tomorrow's fish and chip shop paper, The Sun. They are going with the headline, 7 Up. Bond 25 will see actress Lashana Lynch take over from Daniel Craig to become first female 007. Which naturally, it's gonna trigger the internet. It's been purposely written this way to drive clicks and get people angry because that's the kind of tabloid that The Sun is. So people are getting really furious about this. But the way that it's written, it comes across like Daniel Craig is just gonna be tossed to the side, taken into the woods and killed, and then replaced with the complete opposite of himself, which is a black woman. However, when you actually go beyond the headline, you'll see that Bond is still, well, Bond. He's still the super secret spy agent that will shoot the men, pull the birds, and drink the vodka. Lads. What actually happens in the movie, and full spoilers ahead if you don't want to know anything about the film, is that James Bond has gone into retirement after the events of Spectre, which saw him save the world once more and spare Blofeld's life. He's called out of this when the world is once more held to ransom by the powers of evil, and then there's a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M, played by Ralph Fiennes, says "Come in 007" and in walks Lashana. She has in fact taken over his codename and is now technically 007. They've not replaced James Bond with a black woman. They're not calling her Jane Blonde. Bond's not getting a sex change. There's no need for the outrage, yeah? Now, this of course will be contested throughout the film, with Bond no doubt getting back his 00 status and number by the film's end, because let's face it, Hollywood only really wants to tackle social justice issues to appear like they're tackling social justice issues, because they know it makes money and being woke and inclusive is a great marketing tactic. What's so baffling about this though is that it's not really a big story that deserves all of the outrage that is currently going on the internet. Now, I'm a massive James Bond fan. I owned all the videotapes, I owned all the DVDs, and I even bought all the Blu-rays. I've spent too much money on this guy, so I've got the right to be as annoyed as anyone, and genuinely I can't really see a problem with this scene. Naturally though, no one actually reads the story itself before opening their mouth, and Twitter has been blasted with some of the most idiotic tweets ever, such as, "How does putting a female black lady as James Bond make any sense whatsoever? Bond has always been a white male chauvinist, good-looking man that has used his charms to sleep with lady spies or to get duped by their charms. Way to ruin a character you created. Hashtag 2PC. I love that one. Bond's always been a chauvinist. He's bloody fuming he's not going to be able to have sex with the women now. Next is, so there's going to be a female 007? James Bond was written as a male character, not a female and not a transgender. The world has gone to pot. Let me off, please." So yeah, I don't think you read this story there, did you? I don't know where you got that transgender bit from, but there's clearly some underlying issues there. Next is, "This has got to be a troll." I know, you have to be trolling to be this stupid. "James Bond is iconic. If they want another female 00 agent, they should write one, and the movie could complement the 007 movies. I hate gender swapping characters so much. Just shows the lack of creativity." I could go on for days and days about this because the internet, it's in uproar. But again, these people clearly haven't read the actual article, and I think that the marketing in movies in general plays into the fact that they can write outlandish headlines and people won't bother checking and will just spout off anything. I mean, to me, it's really getting ridiculous the way that movies are marketed these days, where they never actually talk about the movies themselves, but rather the social issues behind them. I think the biggest example that I can think of is Captain Marvel, which made this big song and dance about taking white men down in Hollywood, and absolutely none of that was in the film whatsoever. It was pretty much a popcorn movie that didn't really do anything over the line, and it actually cut a very risky scene in case people were offended by it. So yeah, what a trendsetter. The new Bond movie is clearly doing that too, and I can guarantee that this new character will clearly play second string to Bond, before probably being tossed to the side to show that Bond is, and always will be, 007. Naturally though, newspapers and journalism in general is dying, so they have to write these sensational media pieces that gain attention because they can no longer get it from telling the truth. The Sun headline is extremely misleading, and in truth the film shows that the world has moved on from Bond and is doing its own thing, which is always actually a good plot point in Bond films that worked really well in Skyfall and the like. Bond is still relevant, but this makes me question whether the fan base is there when they have to drum this stuff up to get people talking about the movie. The Little Mermaid was the perfect example last week, where they drummed up lots of controversy around the colour of Halle Bailey's skin when it's probably not going to be mentioned at all in the movie, and it's just a case of marketing through controversy when the best way to promote your film is to actually promote the film itself. It just seems like since The Last Jedi, things like social issues, gender and race are all things that people focus on and talk about, when in actuality the films themselves don't really tackle them. I really hope Bond doesn't fall victim to this false marketing technique, as it's such a moot point and it really isn't needed. This story is a prime example of that, and I'm actually quite eager to see how this plot point plays out in the movie. I personally think it'll really work and it'll kinda humble Bond, which is always great to see in the films. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the issue, and if you agree with the way that movies are being marketed right now. If you're outraged over the entire thing, or just want to drop your thoughts on it, then make sure you leave them in the comments below, as I'd love to read them. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more formal movie coverage, then make sure you check out my recent breakdown of Spider-Man Far From Home, which will be linked at the end. We go over the entire movie and talk about where the films could go down the line, so it's definitely worth checking out after this. I also just want to let you know that we're giving away a free copy of Avengers Endgame on Blu-ray to one lucky winner, and all you have to do is like this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts on the Bond story in the comments section below. The winner will be chosen at random on August the 10th, and the Blu-ray will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are mad into movies, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Deffinition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.